and welcome back to Opposites Attract Podcast. This is Sonja Ramirez, your girl, and I'm sitting next to
Miguel Ramirez.
What's up, everybody? How is your day?
How was your week?
How is your life?
Going. And make sure you guys go to our website, oppositesattractpodcast.com. Share it with the people that you know. Actually, you know what? You were telling me a little while ago that some people have trouble getting to our website.
Yes.
But I fixed some stuff a little while ago. So go check it out and let me know if it's working for you or not.
Awesome.
Because for some people, I mean, for my phone, it would work. But other people would be like, yeah, I'm trying and it's not pulling up for me or whatever. Okay. So yeah, oppositesattractpodcast.com. Let me know if it works for you. And if it does, make sure you guys sign up. Give it a second and the resource list will pop up. You can give us your name and your email and you can download the resource list for free. That has a bunch of videos and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, audios, podcasts that we've listened to that have helped us, change our minds.
Our marriage, just everything, finances, all that good stuff. And we do need to update that because, boy, we've been learning so much these days.
And when I say something crazy and they decide to take us down, that'll be the way that we can get a hold of you guys and you guys can continue to listen to us and listen to the show because we'll have your information and we'll be like, hey, guess what? We got taken down. This is where you can find the show now.
Right.
Because
and
that seems
happens.
to be, dude, it's funny because it's not funny.
It's not.
But it's sad that like a lot of people that make content, it's like, that's the freedom of speech thing. You know what I mean? And it's sad that you have to have backups. Jocko's one of them. Like, that's one of the reasons why he started his other podcast that you pay for, but you get it in a separate place where they can't mess with it, It's sad that it's come to that. But
have to prepare.
And when you guys go to oppositesattractpodcast.com, you'll see how you can follow the show. You can follow us at Opposite Pod everywhere or just search Opposites Attract Podcast. The best thing that you can do is share this with somebody else. Share a clip from our Clips channel or from Facebook or wherever you find a clip. You can share it with somebody else. Ask them to subscribe and like stuff and comment and all that. It all really helps.
Yes, it does.
So, yeah.
So yesterday we got to celebrate our baby boy's 12th birthday.
Yeah.
12th birthday.
Dude, that's the baby.
I was a bit emotional and I think you were feeling it as well.
Yeah, I was.
I was putting a post up on social media and I was going through our pictures and of him, like when we first had him.
Yeah, that one got me.
Yeah.
Because we have, for those of you that don't know, that maybe just started listening to the show not too long ago, we had our kids in the backyard of our old house.
Yes, in a hot tub.
In the hot tub. Yes. Yeah.
Water births are both water births.
And it was an incredible...
And that's how you know I'm a bad bitch.
No, yeah, true.
All natural, no meds.
Yeah.
We went with a midwife who had 20 years at that time experience. And just so you all know, I wasn't going to get into this, but since you brought it up.
Right.
I'm sorry. Did I interrupt you?
No. I wanted to talk about it too.
Okay. And so at the beginning, and I think what got me really thinking about it is because I started hearing stories on how to own your birth. And a lot of women that had their babies in a hospital felt that their birth, like the experience was taken from them because of all the interruptions. I didn't understand it, but just listening to their stories, I'm like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't want someone to come in and entice me with a pain, with a injection that's going to take away.
Yeah.
Especially when you're feeling very uncomfortable.
But I think that's something that you learned as you started finding out about it. It wasn't, I don't think that was like your initial, was that your initial thought for looking into it?
I wanted to earn my birth. I wanted to have my babies natural and at home and in my environment.
What was...
That's that...
Wait a minute. No. I remember the chiropractor. Did he talk to you about... Because the midwife that delivered our kids, I remember the chiropractor introduced us to her.
Yes.
What did he mention to you that made you like,
no,
do you remember anything?
Yeah, I was thinking of, I don't remember like all the details, but I was thinking about it. And I had mentioned something to him, and he said, you should look into the midwife that we've used. And then he shared his experience with me, which even
made you want to find out more.
Right.
Well, I'm just saying, because that's not like I don't think that's a normal thought today. Because I think for most people, like, this is the way we do it.
Yeah.
There isn't even like the thought of a different way to do it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, I think maybe after talking to the chiropractor, like, it's like, I want to find out more about, other ways. Maybe there is other ways. And then that's like a perfect example of like not knowing, just not knowing, because I felt the same. Like, I was never against it, but at first I didn't understand it. And for me, I was just kind of like everybody else. Like, why would you, like, this is the way people do it. You go to the hospital and you have your baby,
I remember you asking me that. Why would you want to have the baby outside of a hospital?
But that's just ignorance, right? It's just not knowing. I didn't know. And then as soon as you start learning about it and you start digging into it a little bit, then you really start thinking about it. And it's like, I mean, we're living beings, right? Mm-hmm. And if you look at any other living being on the planet that gives birth, that's like a very private thing.
Right.
And to have it in a hospital, I think hospitals are trying to do a better job at some of this stuff in certain places.
Now they are, because of how people are now becoming more aware and wanting.
But it's even still, it's not the same. And it's still different. Like, you have nurses coming in and out. You have doctors coming in and out. You'll have a shift change in between stuff, right, or whatever. Like, that's not the way a being like any other creature on the planet would do it if they give birth. Right. And then when you start finding out, it's like, wow, we can do this in our home and then lay down in your own bed. Mm-hmm. Like, that's a completely different experience.
Right. And I got to see the difference when our niece got pregnant and she wanted to have the baby natural, and she wanted me to be in there to coach her through it. And I got to see the difference between having a baby at home and having a baby in the hospital.
Yeah.
Firsthand. Yeah. Because there were times where they were coming in and they're like, baby, not baby, they weren't calling her baby, but you don't have to go through this.
Right. She stayed strong. She did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
so Joey's birthday, that's how this came up.
Yeah. No, well, real quick, I think that's an awesome example just of having to learn more. Because even when you start digging into that, you start finding out about insurance companies and people picking dates for when their kids are going to be born, and the difference between the bond that a mother has when she has the baby natural and at home maybe versus getting an epidural and not feeling it when you're giving birth. Like, it's a different connection with the baby. There's like some chemical shit that's happening.
Yes. No, the baby is also drugged as well.
And there's I'm saying that there's chemical shit that's happening when you do it naturally. Between the mother and the baby.
Oxytocin.
And but then there's also chemical stuff that doesn't happen, or different things that are happening when you're getting an epidural and, the Pitocin or whatever, like all the different shit that they're giving you. Mm-hmm. So it's completely different. You start learning about all that stuff and it becomes eye-opening. It's another one of those things that you could just go down a rabbit hole of information.
Right. And you got to deliver the babies too, which was
that is
pretty
not
cool. That's
a regular experience.
Right.
Yeah. Like Joey, I actually delivered him. That's I think about that every once in a while, but it's cool. I'm glad I thought about it right now. Yeah.
So yesterday, just looking at the pictures and looking at him and just recognizing him for who he is. And I had a conversation with him that as much as he learns from us, we learn from them.
Yeah.
Because they're little mirrors of us. And he's grown so much within such a short amount of time. And I'm talking about like his change in personality.
Yeah.
Not his height, not his weight. I'm talking about the change in his personality and witnessing how it seemed like the change happened overnight.
Yeah.
But it's the constant
and we still have to keep reminding from time to time.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
It's not like it's just 180 overnight. But
it feels
there's a
like
shift,
it.
But the mentality shift.
Yes. Yeah. So he comes up, in the morning, not his birthday. It was like a couple days before. And he's like, Mommy, it was on Friday, I believe. He's like, would you like breakfast?
Yeah.
And I'm like, sure. I'm like, what are you making? Eggs, bacon, and pancakes. I'm like, eggs, bacon, and pancakes. He said yes, because he gets down with eggs. We know that. But when he threw in the pancakes and the bacon, I'm like, really? He's like, yes.
Throw it on the pan. It's not that hard. Throw it in the oven. But pancakes,
But he's doing the full blown
He wants to do the whole thing, yeah.
So I'm like, well, I'll be down. And so when I come down, he has the mix and everything. Mom, we have no milk. I'm like, substitute water. Use water. But he made it and he did it. And I was just so proud of him.
Yeah.
And all the little steps that he's taking in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Getting his belt, his grades, going to the conference, the parent-teacher conference.
Yeah.
Listening what they had to say about him.
Yep. No, it's all adding up.
Yeah. And it's been a struggle. Yeah. Like it's been a struggle. So as a parent, you feel it and you see it. And it's just a sense of, oh, he's getting it. He's getting it. Because there's times where we worry.
It seems like that always happens. Right?
Right.
It's always like you worry. But that's just part of being a parent, probably. No matter what. It doesn't matter whether you know that eventually he's going to snap out of it. That's just how it is for a parent. How you feel.
Yeah. I remember, when I was growing up, and it's like, as soon as I turn 18, I'm out of here. Right?
Yeah.
And it's because it was just difficult. Like there's just a lot of, challenges, and I just wanted to be done. Like I wanted to do my thing, be an adult and be able to do my own thing.
Yeah.
And Audrey's kind of the same way. She's like, when I'm 18, I'm out of here. And I'm like, really? I'm like, why? She's like, don't worry. I'm going to get a house in the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
So that I can come visit you guys a lot. And that made me feel good.
That reminds me of my Aunt Daisy.
Yeah?
And my cousin. Yeah. Lives they live in the same neighborhood.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Yes. And when she said that, I'm like, are you like running away from us?
Yeah.
That was my first thought. Like, you trying to get away?
Yeah.
And Joey's like, I'm gonna live with you guys forever. Like, we've had this conversation. Like, once they're 18,
it's not like you got to find the door. Like your bags are outside.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
But there's some that are. It's like, okay, when you're 18, you're out.
Right.
But I don't feel that way. I feel that they'll find their way.
Yeah.
You have to trust your parenting.
It's like a little tribe.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And tribes stick together. And if you got to stay home for a while, then we will figure everything out together. We can figure it out. At a certain point for them, they have to start taking initiative and becoming leaders for themselves.
Right.
That's what we have to prepare them to do. But there's nothing like we work together with everything.
And these days, it seems like it's going to be a bit more challenging for them to go out on their own because of the expenses.
Yeah, and
right?
if that's
the
what it
housing
takes
market,
for
like
them
where
to be
everything's
successful,
at.
if that's what it takes for them to be successful, to be able to buy a house and not be in a hole and do these things, then we got to do what we got to do. We don't have to play by anybody else's rules. Like, who makes up these rules?
Right.
We do whatever we have to do, whatever works for us and works for our kids and works for the future.
Right.
Like there are some things that you have to play within the rules, but a lot of stuff is just things that people make up. It's like, oh, you turn 18, you got to go get your own place and you got to be your own person and go do. And it's like, well, we'll figure it out.
Right.
But like you were talking about, how they help us grow, and I was kind of thinking about like what it takes like to be a good parent. You know, like I've made all kinds of mistakes as a parent. I still make mistakes.
Yes.
I still make mistakes as a parent. But I think really it's not even like you have to have all the answers or you have to have all the knowledge and read all the books and know all the techniques. Like when this happens, I do this. When this happens, I do this. And on this point, I do reverse psychology on them. And then Jedi mind tricks over here when they do this, or whatever. It's not about any of that. I think as long as you're aware, like if you're aware of if you can like sit and reflect on stuff from time to time, like, yeah, you make a mistake and then eventually you kind of sit down and you're like, yeah, that wasn't right. Or that worked out really good. And I got to remember that so that we can keep doing it this way. Being aware and looking stuff like finding out, like when something does come up, finding out. You don't have to like have everything down in advance. Like just be aware, be involved in the kids' lives, like notice what's happening and be willing to learn about stuff as it comes up. That's all you need to be a good parent. I mean, eventually you guys will all figure it out together because it's not just one way. Like you said, it's all of us. They're learning, we're learning. We make mistakes, they make mistakes. They see our mistakes. We help them through theirs. They help us through ours. That's it.
Being aware, I believe, is very important because a lot of times we're raising them in our own fear.
Yeah.
Or maybe we were raised a certain way and we didn't like the way we were raised. So we go the total opposite. Like there's no balance.
Yeah. And questioning yourself, questioning things that you do.
Yes.
Yeah.
And knowing that even though you are the parent, there's a reason why this child was put into your life. And questioning what it is that you're doing. Like, is this the right way?
Yeah. Maybe being like super strict all the damn time isn't always the best answer. Maybe sometimes you have to instill discipline. You know what I mean? There's balances to stuff.
I read a post and I want to pick your brain on this. And I guess every decision is different. I mean, it depends on the situation itself.
That's why you got to reflect.
Right. But when our kids are struggling in life and they haven't made the best decisions, are you there to lift them up or allow them to feel the pressure of them making wrong decisions? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if one ends up in jail, just saying, like Joey made he's been making some decisions and they haven't been the greatest. And he, decided that he was going to go do something dumb. And he ends up in jail. Do you allow him to live that out or do you remove him from the situation? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think it depends on the situation. And your kid, if you're involved and it's hard. It's a very tough situation because depending on if Joey's personality for some reason changes to where it's destructive and he's destroying his life and everybody's life around him, it's like, if you aren't ready to stop with this, I can't have you destroy my life too. But I know who you are, right? Mm-hmm. And if you're ready to be that person and we can fucking figure it out or work on it, because as a parent, you're not going to quit on them. But I can't even imagine having to do something like that.
I can't eat. It's so hard if you've never been through it.
Right. Yeah.
But for me, it's like, do you enable your children?
But then the same thing is like, if he is I do believe that people can change. And if he does feel like he can change and maybe he made a mistake that is costing him now, I would try to help him in whatever way I could. Whether maybe I can't get him out, but if I can go visit all the time or whatever I can do to just be supportive, I would do that.
Right.
But that just, I don't know.
It's such a fine line.
Geez, why are we doing this on talking about his fucking birthday and shit? And now he's in prison.
Shut up. But I'm just, it's part of just being a parent. They're going to do stupid shit, right? Whatever.
Got fucking teardrop tattoos and fucking spider webs and
Babe,
shit.
Shut up.
I ain't trying to think about that.
But it's like, at the end of the day, the unconditional love that we have for our children at times can enable them depending on who they are, or it may lift them. Like my parents have always been there for me. There was a point where I didn't have no place to go. And even though, I made all these mistakes, they opened up their home to me.
Yeah.
Instead of allowing me to. Do you know what I'm saying? But then it's like you have some people that are like, well, you're enabling your children. You have to allow them to hit rock bottom in order for them to see, in order for them to pick themselves up. They have to suffer.
And what about, it's just different. There is no straight answer. Because what about,
we would love to hehear from you guys. Like if you guys are listening to this and maybe you have some experience, whatever,
send us a message.
Hit us up. Yes, call us.
480-331-9846. You can send us a message. You can let us know what you think. If you have any questions, you guys can send us a question too.
Yes.
But like, I think it just really depends on the situation, because for some people, their kids get into some serious shit that changes them forever.
Right.
Like if you get into some drugs that you have a brain aneurysm or some shit, that person may never be the same again. And then what?
Yeah.
Like these are just, it's not straightforward for anybody.
Right.
And it's different for everybody. Just like parenting, like we were talking about, like being aware, nobody's parenting journeys, they're like fingerprints.
Yeah.
They're all different. So it just depends. But I think, like I said, if you're aware, if you're willing to learn, if you reflect, and you're involved, you got to be involved so that you can pay attention to the things that are happening around you and with your kids.
Yeah. Yeah. Another thing that he did, back to Joey.
Yeah. No more prison talk.
No. When you were gone. No, you were at work.
I was working. I'm back in the office now.
Yeah. And we were leaving. We were going somewhere and I needed gas. So I stopped, pulled over, and he's so sweet. So I get out of the car to put gas in, and all of a sudden I see him pop out and run.
Yeah.
And he just takes over, gets the card, puts the gas in. And I'm like, aw, so sweet.
Yeah.
And the first thing that came to mind was you. It was you.
Yeah.
Because that is you. You're leading.
Thanks, babe.
And I think that it's very important. Like we're talking about all this parenting.
Yeah.
The best way is to lead from the front.
Yes.
I'm going to kick your ass. It is.
Yeah.
It's leading.
It's true.
Not just talking, not just sharing, showing. Like allow them to see it. Yeah. That is the best. When we're wrong, we apologize to them.
Yeah. He
sees the way you treat me.
Yep.
So when you're gone.
And how we help each other out, how we pick up for each other.
Yeah.
And we do things together and all that.
And those are the things that are just confirmation that we're doing right. It was like when I met Audrey's boyfriend and I saw the type of boy that she chose. I'm like, yeah, we're doing well.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if there's anything to that.
What do you mean?
I think there might be. I don't know. Like Audrey bringing home, like the boyfriend that she has. Yeah. He's like a really nice, sweet kid.
Right.
He's respectful. But I wonder if there's something to that. Like maybe like the girls that bring home, like they're rebelling against something. It's like mom and dad won't like this.
Oh.
Or some, you know, I don't know. I don't know if that's a reflection of anything, but I was talking to some friends recently that they were mentioning that. It's like their daughter, something was like the freaking kid that he brought home. Holy shit. And we're doing this again. Like it was, yeah.
Huh.
And I was like, but I wasn't thinking it then, but now that you bring it up, I'm kind of wondering.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. See, but too, we don't have any expectations when it comes to that. I remember when I was younger, I'm talking about like, this is who we expect you to bring home.
Nah.
Do you understand?
Certain dudes are not coming.
I know,
here.
but babe, we have never.
But I don't worry about
limited,
that kind of stuff.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't limit. No, but let the wrong one show up to the door, and I will limit quick.
Yes. Yes. But okay, so maybe I'm saying that when I knew that there wasn't a certain type or color that I wasn't supposed to bring home.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I didn't give a shit.
Were you rebelling?
No, I was just like, you got your issues. Like, those are your issues. You got some issues you got to work out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, maybe we're a little more aware. I don't know. Maybe that's judgy. Maybe it is what it is.
What do you guys think? No.
Yeah. No, maybe your parents were a little old school.
Yes.
That's what you call it, old school?
Yes, call it old school.
Oh, shit.
Yes.
Some people call it racist. Some people call it old school.
So, no, it's
but,
you know,
like, I mean, yeah, I would have some issues, not with any of that. Like that's the least of my worries. Like I don't worry about that at all. But I mean, you come looking and talking a certain way and fucking ghetto fabulous. No. And that could be what a Mexican, white guy, black guy. I don't care.
Right.
You better come correct.
Yeah. But the way we're raising her, I would never see her.
Yeah, I don't feel like we got to worry about that.
He's a band geek. She's a choir geek.
Yeah. We do. Yeah, they're doing good.
But that's it. It's leading by example. You don't tell your kids it's not okay to hit, and then you hit. That's how you punish them.
Yeah.
That's an example.
Yeah.
What? You got something to say?
No. Damn, I was listening to something recently. I can't remember what it was, but it was about getting slapped around. But it was like one of those things like, was that wrong? Like it seems to work for some parents, or it worked for us back then. Maybe times are different and you need different techniques. And the techniques of old school was whoop your ass.
Right.
Where maybe not so much anymore.
So crazy. Just the different generations and how we were raised. And there's so much to unreveal or to reveal. I have a note on here and it says your life will tell on you.
Okay.
Your life will tell on you.
What does that mean? There's signs?
There are signs. Are you really? Like
what
we talk a lot of shit on here. No, we don't talk a lot of shit, but we talk about our parenting. We talk about our parenting skills. We talk about our marriage. Yeah. We talk about everything. You guys know it all.
Yeah.
Those of you that listen to our podcast, you know more about us than our parents do, because our parents stopped listening to this a long time ago when they listened to episode 69 where we were talking about some shit. No, do you remember?
They're like, turn this shit off.
69. Yep. If you guys go back, we had
you
got to
go back.
Out.
It's been a while.
Yeah. Where we just laid it out. And so we warned our parents. I'm like, you may not want to listen to our podcast because we get real on this.
Yep.
And that's what people love about it.
If we did go around, like some of you guys that listen all the time, they'd be like, oh, they're full of shit. Because they'd be talking about all this stuff and look at all of this. But the truth, you know what? Another thing that I say on this podcast all the time is we do talk a lot of shit. And it's not like all the shit that we talk about is like we're on this shit 100% of the time, nonstop. Yes. Like nobody's ever like that.
Right.
That's fucking perfect. Right. Like how would our life be is if every single moment, like we wake up on the exact time that we're supposed to every single day, knock out all our workouts without thinking twice about them, every time that something happens with the
Eating
kids,
healthy.
you
Yeah.
eat perfect all the time. Sprouts and fucking steak and no
Yes.
salt. Like just,
Kombucha.
yeah. And then every time the kids make a mistake, we make the perfect decision.
Right.
We do the perfect research.
Right.
We can see it coming.
Right.
Fuck no.
Yes.
Like, that's just not what it is. It's not like that for anybody.
Right. Every day it's checking in. Every day is checking in. And sometimes you don't have the time to check in. So it's like, bleh,
And some people feel like if they're not nailing it all the time, it's like they're fucking up.
Yes.
And it's like you're being too hard on yourself.
Right.
Like we talked about it a couple episodes ago about recognizing those wins, the small wins from time to time. Because especially when shit's getting rough, especially if you're doing your best, don't bullshit yourself either though. But when you're doing your best, when you're trying and shit just doesn't seem to be working out or you're going through a hard time, like look for those like, all right, at least I did this. At least we are headed in this direction. At least I'm digging myself a little bit out of this hole.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes. I had put a post up about like us. Like what made me decide, aside from just feeling or hearing the calling to be a coach, why do I feel so solidified and confident about being a coach? And it is because of how far we've come and how much we've learned. Like in our marriage, we do have a solid marriage, right? I would say 90%. I would even go as 95. I don't know, 90%. Like we're good, right? Yeah. Every once in a while we'll have a disagreement, but it never gets out of hand. There's always an apology that comes, you know, after.
Work it out.
Yeah, yes. And when it comes to like our finances, like I put on there, yeah, we're okay. We're going to be doing better. You know, we're okay. But we've been debt free since 2013. Right? Yes, right now we're growing a business and we already know how that goes.
Yeah.
We know how that goes. We know the challenges. We know it's going to take time to build this business, right? But we're doing it. We're doing it. So yeah, right now it's a little tight. But we've had the self-discipline to stay debt-free since 2013.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's thinking about that in our relationship and parenting. And I'm like, the one thing that I seem to struggle on the most is having the self-discipline. Like, how much weight have I lost?
Yeah, like
found
the weight of other people.
You know what I'm saying? It's like and it's all, you know, it's the mindset that having the self-discipline to just do what you can do.
Yeah.
And having that accountability, which I asked you to hold me accountable.
Yeah. I think you also got to realize, like, for some people, sometimes like life comes in seasons. Like, that's just how like you're on it for a while and then you're off it. But the thing is that you got to really try to stay on it more than off of it, because you can stay off of it for a while and then you're, like we always talk about, you're building back up again.
Yeah.
So just finding the balance.
Every time we learn something, we share it. That's why we have podcasts. That's why I'm coaching.
Yeah.
Because I feel that we have accomplished a lot.
Yep.
When it comes to marriage, when it comes to parenting.
We've thought about a lot of stuff. I mean, we've tried a lot of stuff.
Right. Finances, now we're just building, build. We got to build. We want that freedom.
Yeah. Yep.
And we're working on that. There's a lot of things I feel that we don't know.
Oh.
That we're just unaware of. When it comes to finances and wealth, we need to study that. I don't think we've studied that as much as we studied health, as we studied how to get debt free, how to study parenting, how to study marriage. Yeah. I don't think we've studied wealth, like reading books on wealth.
True.
We've tried things, right? Yeah. Invest, the investment in Bitcoin, all that other stuff.
Yeah, but not like committing to it the way we've committed to other things.
Yes.
Which,
Now we're getting our health right. So that's getting aligned. Now it's just keeping that going and holding each other accountable.
I also feel like as far as wealth goes, like, yes, there's ways to do it. Buying houses and buying and flipping stuff and just having different streams of income or whatever. But I also feel like if you're doing what you're passionate about, and you figure, like, you don't have to figure out wealth, because the wealth is going to come through the passion that you have. Whatever it is that you're working on, that's what's going to build your wealth. Mm-hmm. And then the way we are, it's going to turn into business after business, or adding more to this business, adding more to different aspects to the business. You know, like I've told you, just in my head for like the podcast thing, it's like eventually I'm going to start interviewing fighters before the week. I specifically decided that my podcast come out on Friday, because 5 years from now, I'm going to be interviewing some fighters that are getting ready to fight for a title the next day. So that way people will be able to listen to my interview with that guy before he fights that night. You know, that kind of stuff. But when that happens, there's going to be sponsors on the show. People will be buying merchandise. I'll be maybe teaching classes or something in certain towns and charging for drop-in, like, I don't know, like they have seminars and stuff like that. Like, there's so many different ways to do it that I don't have to worry about building wealth, because money's coming in from so many different ways.
Right.
You know?
Yes.
But
speaking of that, when I said yes to coaching, I had no idea that there were retreats.
Right.
Within my coaching that were going to take place.
You think that in the beginning, you just think that I'm going to be sitting with people and we're going to be talking. Right. And we're going to be working stuff out.
Right.
But then it's like, oh shit, we can do this and we can do that. And
like, how do you help more people?
And then somebody hires you for a speaking engagement.
Right.
You know?
Yes. Speaking about the retreat.
Yeah. Before we get into that, make sure you guys go to our website, oppositesattractpodcast.com. Like we said before, let us know if it's working and share it with people that you know. Follow us on all of our social media at Opposite Pod, or search Opposites Attract Podcast. You can find us on video, is on Facebook and on YouTube. And you can find clips on YouTube. Also, we have a separate clips channel, Opposites Attract Podcast Clips. Subscribe to that one. That one is just getting started, so we don't have that many subscribers like we do on the regular podcast channel. And if you're wondering where the clips went, that's where they went. And if you guys want to support the show, when you go to our website, you can click the support the show tab. That'll take you to our Amazon link. Anything that you purchase through that Amazon link, if you guys are buying stuff for Halloween, any blow up dolls for your front yard or for your bedroom, or if you're buying any candy or whatever you're buying on Amazon, if you click through that link, it'll help us out. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but they give us a little kickback. And if you want to help us out, the other way you can do it is,
yes, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/oppositepod and buy us a virtual drink. And you can subscribe to that on a monthly basis as well. So it's buymeacoffee.com/oppositepod.
There you go. So let's, last week we were talking about, we almost forgot like that we haven't even talked about the retreat, because it feels like it's been a while since we recorded. And last week we were it was the day before we left, and we were getting everything ready. We were going to be packing up the car the next day. And so it's come and gone. You've had like your moments of, uncertainty and doubt, and even within the retreat, but you knocked it out. You crushed it. And everybody some of the women that I talked to, I didn't speak to everybody, but everybody that was there when we were packing it up, since we came back, because you guys packed it up and came back, everybody's just like, it was incredible. It was like more, I don't know. It's hard to even explain how they felt about it.
It was life-changing.
Yeah.
It was life-changing.
Did it go the way you planned?
I had no idea. Like, I felt it within my being. I felt that this was going to change their lives. I felt that. I even said it. You will not come back the same.
Yeah.
In my fire. And not only are you not going to come back the same, but it's going to pour into your family. This isn't just for you. The investment you're making is not just for you. It's going to pour into your husband. It's going to pour into your children, because when you change, everything changes.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it was going to be so in depth. Like yes, I did. I felt it. I just felt it in every part of my being. That what I'm doing is very divine. It comes from such a divine place. I wouldn't say a pure place. But everything about this retreat and how it was created during the meditation, those that I called to invite were supposed to be there, and they all said yes.
Yeah.
And then that's when I put it on Facebook. And there are 4 spots available. And I just figured those 4 spots are for the people that are supposed to be there. And then I gifted a spot out. And those of you that have been to retreats with women know that there's always some kind of drama or something that happens, right?
Is there?
Every woman at the retreat bonded beautifully. They became
like
soul
like a
sisters.
sisterhood.
Yes. Radiant Souls is my retreat. That's the name of my retreats. And
is that your crew?
That's my crew. And everything was taken care of. It was absolutely amazing because I knew that what I had to focus on was my mindset. Yeah. Like bringing it all out. And I couldn't focus on the food, and I couldn't focus on this, and I couldn't focus on that.
You had to be focused with your thoughts and what you were working on.
Yes. I had to keep myself in that space. And my amazing nieces and my clients, like we all they came together and they took care of everything, and the food was amazing.
Yeah.
Like it was everybody loved it. It was healthy. It was good. The topics were exactly what needed to happen. It happened the way it was supposed to happen. Some things did not take place. Some of the activities, but that's going to be held for the future. Retreat that's going to be in May. There's only 10 spots left because 10 are already taken.
No.
And it's almost like you have to qualify for my retreats, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, like you said, half of it is already taken, and then the other half, I mean, they might come from the first 10. Like people that because it is like you want to have that. One of the reasons why it went so well is because of you talked to everybody that was going to the retreat before. The last episode, we also talked about how you were like, it was a personalized, like you knew exactly who was going. So you're going to get a feel for everybody that's going and where they're at. And,
yeah, these women,
that's why it feels like a different event.
One of them been to a retreat before, but it's it's a spiritual thing. It really is. I mean, you're letting out, it's a safe place. And we had to build that environment, that space for these women to let out, to release what they came with.
Yeah. Did the retreat, before you had left to the retreat, you had your ideas in your head of what the retreat was going to be like. Did it go that way?
Yes.
It went the way you did it. Okay.
Now, there was a point where I got in my head. We were all sitting in a circle, and we were going over why they said yes, like just going through, their story and stuff like that. And there was something within myself, because this is a limited belief that I've been working on. And it's almost like, who are you? Like, you're not smart enough. Like, how, it's that. It has to do with that. Like, you're not smart enough.
Doubting yourself?
Yeah, it's doubt. It's doubt.
And why should they listen to you?
Right. Like, who are you? Who are you? Kind of deal. And we're sitting in this circle, and I'm looking at all these beautiful women while they're sharing. And it's crazy how a thought, it's so powerful, especially when you allow it to fester and it turns into an emotion. And that's what was going on within the circle. So at this point, I'm taking a listen, and I have 2 other coaches that I brought in. And Lindsay and I, she knows me enough to know when to pick up.
She noticed something was going on.
She said she didn't. And so maybe it was just me. Right? But what was great is there was a 15-minute break.
Yeah.
And when all the women got up to go grab something to eat or something to drink, I sat with Lindsay. And I said, Lindsay. She's like, hey, are you okay? So maybe she did see it because she asked me, hey, or how are you? How are you feeling? And I looked at her and I'm like, I'm having some self-doubt.
Yeah.
And she looked at me. She looked into my soul. That's what she looked into
stared
my
into the bottom of your soul.
Yes. And she said, look around this room. You created this. They are all here for you. You created this. And she just started speaking into my soul. And she's like, I want you to go outside. They're beautiful. There's a lake, a huge tree. She's like, go out by the tree. Do some meditation. And I want you to come back in. I said, okay. I hugged her and man, I went outside. Came back in, stood up and felt so just like I got it. But I needed that. I needed
you
that
felt
reminder.
like what? Like powerful? Like you were ready to go?
Oh, yes. And it showed up.
Yeah.
I felt like I showed up.
But yeah. So you were saying that this was happening, like you were getting these feelings as you were hearing them say why they came to this event.
Right. Because they were speaking well.
What were they saying? That exactly. But you didn't get into that. What were they saying about the event? Because I think this is something that you have to be very careful with how you're taking in this information that you're getting. Because that is how people their ego gets the best of them. Because if you have a room of people and every single person is talking about how great you are and all the things, and then you start getting bigger and bigger, and then you start doing bigger and bigger events, and everybody's like, hey, and then everywhere you go, it's like, hey, fucking this and that, and then you're a fucking big shot, but then you kind of forget, like, no, I make mistakes. I'm just like you guys. I have some experience. I've just learned some different things. And you know what I mean? It's like, I'm not whoever you're, because at a certain, this is that idolizing thing.
Yes.
And I think the humility, like the ego will make you feel like you are that idol.
Yeah.
And humility will remind you that you're just like everybody else.
And two, it was that. And I didn't realize, because I'm a giver, right? I love to give and to serve. And I was receiving this time.
Yeah.
They were talking well about me and why they showed up and how I've always been there. Karina, I've been mentoring her since she was 18 years old.
Yeah.
Right? And Kelly, I've known her since 5th grade, and I had my beautiful nieces in the room, and I had my cousin, and there's so many others, and they're speaking well of me. And I remember it was Kelly, and I said, Kelly, I'm like, this retreat is not my retreat. It's our retreat. I almost like, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, yes, but you are the reason why. Because I noticed that everything was coming at me. Do you see what I'm saying?
That's the sign of a leader, though. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And you're not, I don't know. It's weird because that's what you're supposed to do, but it should come from a sincere place. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way I would feel. Right now, the podcast is me. But as soon as we start growing it and I have to hire people, the podcast is not me anymore. It's us. It's our team. It's what we're doing. And together, we hire them. You're part of my team. Then I want you to win too. And we'll figure out how we're all going to win.
Right.
We're going to grow this thing and kick ass. I'm going to make some shit ton of money. And you're going to get fucking paid well too. And now it's us.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. And now that I haven't really got to process on this, but I'm processing on, now it's going through, and And I think it was like, oh my gosh, I have to live up to this. Like I'm listening to them and it's like, right? Like, oh, I think that's what brought it in. The self-doubt. Like I was just listening to this and I'm like feeling so much love though. Like I was feeling so much love from them and just seeing them. And when they're speaking to me, they're speaking to me. And that's what it was like, ooh, like I have to live up to this kind of deal, you know? And then it's like, but who are you? But who are you? Kind of deal, right? Questioning, self-doubt.
Yeah. You know what's I talked about it a couple weeks ago with the little, or it might have been last week with the little girl at jiu-jitsu. And I had another experience of it last Thursday. I went to class and I got a beating by a good friend. But I remember when I was leaving, or maybe when I was putting my belt back in my bag next to my black belt, I was like, I earned it today. You know what I mean? So yeah, you are that, but you earn it all the time. That's what also kind of keeps you, and that's why people should follow you and listen to what you're saying. Because when you do come to the point where you make a mistake or you find out that something isn't what it was or whatever, like you're gonna let them know, like, hey, I fucked up and maybe we should do things this way, or whatever the situation is, but you're not opposed to, like, you're not letting people know when you make mistakes that you're not perfect. You're willing to learn.
Right. And I shared this with the girls when I came back in. I shared with them the self-doubt that I was having.
Yeah.
And
you were saying that they had no idea.
No, they had no idea. They had no idea. Yeah. So it was all in my head. I created it. And Lindsay was there to remind me.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter where you're at. It's recognizing that it's recognizing the wins, the things that you've done, the things that you've been able to do. Yeah. And I have to do that often at times.
Yeah.
Because I forget. And it also I feel a lot of pressure as well because of the work that I'm doing. It's so personal.
Yeah, and it's important.
Very important. It's bigger than a paycheck. So much bigger. Because when they realize, and this is what they realized, of what they're capable of and who they are, knowing that they don't need to look outside of themselves for answers. All the answers are within you, and every practice and every activity that we did was focused on that.
Yeah.
Then you stop doing the things that maybe have been sabotaging you, because now you're aware. You're like, oh, okay, this belief came from here. That's where this thought is coming from, and I am not my thoughts.
You can change them.
And so everything that we did, every activity led to that.
It's like to the rewiring of something.
Getting to the core, looking within, taking responsibility for where your life is right now, and recognizing that you are not your past. You are not your stories.
Yeah.
You are not that. Because what I've noticed is, we all want to make a difference in this world. Like, we all want joy. What do we all have in common? We all want unconditional love. But until you love yourself unconditionally, you're not going to know what that feels like. Because you're going to be expecting someone else to love you and show you that.
Yeah.
But once you learn how to love yourself unconditionally, you fall in love with everything around you. including plants and flowers and animals. Like, you become one with everything.
Yeah.
You don't see yourself separate. And joy, where does that come from? It doesn't come from the new pair of shoes you bought. Having that inner joy, no one can take it from you. Or that inner peace, because in order to create that outer peace, you have to have inner peace.
Yeah. But
also have that masculine, so that's more like the feminine, like just the love, the nurturing, the compassion, the empathy, the, all of that. But you also have to know when to kick ass. Like, get out of that mindset, that victim mentality, and start to stand and do in order to get your life back on track. But so many people keep falling back and they don't understand why. You know how we had a lot of women in there from Legal Shield? Yeah. I was a recruiter. Loved our team, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And we were talking and laughing, and I said, girls, could you imagine if we were to work Legal Shield today, knowing what we're capable of?
Yeah.
We'd be unstoppable. Because I would be able to identify why you're so scared of failure or sabotaging your success. Because I'll just coach you, figure it out, and then boom, set you free. No.
Yeah. Yep. That's funny.
Because most people have those challenges because of a limited belief of themselves, a fear. There's something there that they are attached to. They're oblivious to it. They have no idea. But once you remove that and you take them back to, I call it the naked truth, how we were born. How were we born? Yeah. We were born with everything that we want. Love, peace, joy. As children, we were that until we started to get conditioned.
See, yeah, the condition thing. I think about that, like, as people, as humans. I think about it a lot. Like, really, if you look at somebody maybe that you look down on, or somebody that has a really fucked up life according to you or whatever, and like, I really think about, like, if you were that same exact person, if you were born in their shoes, in the same exact conditions, like, we would like to think that we're really special and that we could do all these things. But chances are, if you were born in their position, with their parents, with the amount of money that they had, in the neighborhood that they grew up in, with the bullies in the school that they had, with all these different things, you might have turned out exactly like them. You know what I mean? So that, like, we are, it's just an accumulation of all the things. So, but the point is that if that can be true, that means that you can change things. Because if you change something's environment and the way you think about things, and, like, you can change everything. You don't have to be whatever that situation that you grew up in was. You can create yourself to be whatever the hell you want to be. Mm-hmm. You just have to act that way instead of the other way that you were raised and taught to be.
Yeah. You have to become. It's being. It's a form of being, how you're showing up, how you're, right?
I have friends that we in all different walks of life, and not to make that one's better than the other, but I'm sure, like, there's some friends that from way back in the day, like, they got mixed into the wrong stuff. We all came from the same place, and we're all in different places in our lives. Mm-hmm. Some of them might be in jail because of shit that they did, and guess what? Their life, the way they might be in gangs in jail or whatever the hell. But that's not the rest of us. Like, everybody now has their different influences. Now, if your influence is maybe you're not in jail, but you're always partying and at the clubs and doing all this other shit, your life is whatever that is. But if you change it, it could all be different.
It's whatever you create it to be. Because we are the creators of our lives.
Yeah.
We are the sum of our thoughts.
Yeah.
And the results, the actions that we take and the actions that we don't take. Yeah.
Yep. Last week I mentioned that there was something that I wanted to tell like Joey to get into the habit of. And not just Joey, but all our kids. It's something that should be running through all of our minds all the time. But it's like, what can I get better at? Anything. The other one that should be added to that is, what can I change? Anything. I can change anything in my life if I make the decision to do it. And do whatever that is, whatever it takes to do that. I can change it. I can get better at anything and I can change anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When I came home from the retreat, and when you and I got a moment, and you looked at me and you're like, how did it go? And I shared with you, and you got very emotional.
Did I? I don't remember that.
No?
Where were we? Where was I?
I think we were in the garage.
Were we? Okay.
You started to tear up. You don't remember? You don't remember?
That was me? I don't remember.
You don't remember?
Maybe, if you start talking about it more. We talk a lot, yo.
How can you forget that?
It's been a lot of emotional, I've been thinking about a lot of stuff lately,
Yeah.
But yeah.
But I was going to ask
But
you,
I have
where was
a
that
couple
coming
times.
from? But if you don't remember, how can
No.
you answer that?
Because
I can tell you what I
know.
was feeling.
Because I know. I think I remember. Not specifically the moment, but I remember what thoughts made me feel that way. And it was thinking about our family. Like the family that we have there. The picture. There's a picture that you took of you and Audrey and our cousin and our nieces. That one, when I looked at it, still makes me emotional.
Why?
Because they're family. They're so close to us, You have love for them. I mean, you have love for everybody, but man, when it's that close to you and knowing that you're helping them, it's different.
When I saw your reaction, it's kind of, like the conversation that we were having.
Dude,
it's like, you see
not only that,
me,
though, not just family, but there are friends that turn into family.
Yes. For me, what I was getting from that, and maybe it's just what I created, was that you were just so proud. It's like you knew.
Yeah.
You knew it. Like you knew the outcome. Like you see me in that light.
And I heard people talk, like when you guys were bringing the stuff and dropping the stuff back off and we were unpacking the cars. Yeah. Like you could tell that something happened that weekend.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was really cool.
Yeah.
You kicked ass, babe. The first retreat is down.
We did.
And you had doubts during, before.
Yeah.
And you might have doubts of future retreats and of future stuff. Mm-hmm. But these things could have also just been a thought. And you made a decision and we did it. And it is true. Like, it is like a we thing. It's a team thing. Because like you said, you had to be focused to be able to give them your energy. So you had to have people helping to be able to, do the food and everything else that needed to be done for the retreat.
You should have seen.
No, I
wish
can
I would have
imagine.
captured this because I was upstairs.
Dude, that is one of the best moments that you can have in your life. is when you can see the work that you're doing and that you're leading something, and it is a we thing. Like when you are that kind of leader that feels it as a we thing.
Yes.
That's powerful, man.
I was upstairs getting my mind right. I was going to the bathroom and I looked down because I can see like the kitchen from upstairs.
It's like the loft upstairs.
Yes. And all of them. It was the last day. It's when we were packing. That's what it was. I was like, whew, right?
Yeah.
Like you did it. Like this is amazing. It was so good. And I just started getting very emotional. And I can hear God just like, good job. Like you did it. Good job. And I look down and all the women are coming together and they're cleaning and they're sweeping and they're getting the ice chest ready and they're all working together.
Because they want to.
And I go down and I see my cousin and I'm like, man, I'm so emotional. And I'm like, thank you guys so much for helping. And she said something like, what, you think we were going to allow you to do this on your own?
Yeah.
And they all just...
You guys work together.
Yeah. And it was so beautiful because nothing was asked.
Yeah.
Nothing was asked of them. They just did.
It comes off. You feel it. That reminds me, I've mentioned it a while back, but I had a moment like that in the military where I was cleaning the bathrooms and I was like, I'm going to do these all by myself because I'm the leader. This is the shittiest job. And little by little, people started coming and helping me out, like unexpectedly. And dude, like it was like a similar thing. Like all of a sudden there's a room full of people and they're all cleaning showers, cleaning toilets, cleaning sinks. And I was just like, damn.
Yeah.
This is how you help people. This is how you get shit done. This is how you lead. You know?
Yeah.
I think, and yeah, like leading is one of the most fulfilling things. And you can do both with your coaching, with all of it.
And it doesn't matter what area in your life. It's leading the family as a parent. It's leading as a husband. It's leading as a wife. It's leading
at work.
Everywhere you go. Everywhere
with your family,
you go.
In your hobbies, whatever.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And with that, make sure you guys go to our website, oppositesattractpodcast.com. Like we said, share it with somebody that you know. The best thing that you can do is share a clip with somebody. Let them know how they can follow us, subscribe. You can find us everywhere on all the different podcast apps. Watch us on Facebook and YouTube. Send us a message or give us a call at 480-331-9846 and we can play it on the show. You can be anonymous if you want.
Yes. Thank you all for your love. Thank you for your support. And thank you for watching Opposites Attract Podcast.
Where we get better
together. Bye.